And now we got a great one-on-one here with Jaden Daughtry, where we go into a lot of different topics. It's the first time that I was able to catch up with him. I was on the beat covering the Sycamores the past year and a half, but this is the first time I got to catch up with him post Josh Shirt's regime.
We got a great guest here today. His name is Jaden Daughtry, and he has been having a pretty good time right now with the Indiana State Sycamores men's basketball squad. He's been tearing it up. He's scored 19 or more points 5 times this year. Sycamores are now 3-1 in the Missouri Valley Conference, riding a bit of a high with a great start. How are we doing today, Jaden?
Good, good. Can't complain. Just got out of practice. Kind of snowed in right now, but everything's good.
That's right. The Sycamores are going to be playing at Valpo here on Wednesday as they look to try to win their fourth out of their first five conference games. As you know, Jaden, right now we got about 8 inches of snow the last 24 hours here in Terre Haute. So
Yeah.
I guess my first question, based off kind of that topic, is where were you spending snow days in growing up in Richmond, Virginia, or how were you spending those snow days? Getting shots up in the gym, or what did those days kind of look like for you?
Well, when I was younger, living in New York, a lot of snow days we couldn't really leave the house, so it wasn't really too much to do. But other times, regular at Richmond, trying to find a gym, it didn't really get as bad as it was out here, so we kind of got a little more space to maneuver out there. But on the snow days, really just trying to find a gym, probably go outside, walk to the courts or something. If you could. Hopefully, they usually put sand down because it's at the elementary school that I live next to. So usually we'll go out there sometimes, get some shots up. But, it's not as hard as it is out here because, Richmond, we don't get as much snow. But what we do, it's usually a lot, though.
No doubt. And then, as I mentioned, JD's been having a big moment here for the Sycamores, and the Sycamores have been having a great start to the Valley, Missouri Valley Conference. Jaden's been shooting 61% from the floor in the last three outings. One of those was out of conference. And yeah, like I said, he scored 19 or more points against Ohio State, Bradley, Missouri State, Arkansas State. So I want to start there, Jaden. Can you tell me, kind of from your viewpoint and kind of what you've been seeing out there, just like how are you just seeing the court, particularly on the offensive side of the floor this year?
I feel like it's just a lot of just come with maturing, just putting in extra work as far as just going, get an extra workout in or coming in early before practice, watching some films, you start to work on things in your game a lot more. The game starts to slow down for you. It starts to become easier. Like Stretch used to say last year, you learn the game, it just starts to slow down for you. And I think that's really just what's been happening lately.
And then you've been doing it largely off the bench. I know you've gotten some starts this year, but mainly you've been a reserve, playing about 18.8 minutes a game this year. Do you feel like you want to be pushed into that starting lineup, or do you feel like you've settled into as a guy that can kind of give a lift off the bench, and maybe you're more concerned about being in there to close the game?
Oh yeah, I'm kind of more just kind of want to finish the game. Starting, I never really cared about that too much. So I'm not really too worried about that. It's really just coming in and making sure that when I do come in, just bringing a spark. Try to change the game around for the better, whatever it is. So I don't really mind about the whole starting situation. Me and Graves have talked about that a little bit earlier this week.
And then JD, again, folks, we got Jaden Daughtry on here. He's a forward slash wing for the Indiana State men's basketball program, the Sycamores. When you look at kind of, I want to rewind to last year. Let's go back to the end of last year. So it had to feel a little different or be a little bit
Uh-huh.
odd, kind of going through almost like a rebuild in terms of losing your coach that recruited you, and then the seven players in the rotation that were ahead of you. Two were seniors, five hit the portal. They're not back.
Yeah.
But you come back to Paradise. Can you kind of break down why you did, and maybe looking now at where you were at in the season, like what that's looked like for you?
I'll say for one, even if I did want to transfer, I didn't really have too much film that I could use to get into the portal. Um, and for two, I trusted Graves. I talked to Graves, and at first I was looking forward to going with shirts to St. Louis, but after talking to Graves and he just hearing what he had to say and how his plans were for me next year, I just trusted grades. I felt like I could definitely do something great for myself and with the team next year if I stay here, put another year in with him. And I honestly, I just trusted Graves. In the beginning of the season, we went into Miss Angie's office, who runs basically the athletic things on hiring people, and we basically talked to her and just told her like, a lot of us stay if you do give Graves a job, and I was one of the ones in the room that day, and honestly, I like Graves as a coach. And me and him have a pretty good relationship, so I feel like it was really a lot of Graves bringing me back, and just staying one more year in Paradise, bringing something good to this town. Because the town, they take care of me. They take care of the basketball team, the basketball program. And, I felt like, leaving them without really showing them anything wouldn't really, that wouldn't really leave a good taste in anybody's mouth. But I'll definitely say Grays in the city.
Yeah, it sounds like you got that continuity considering Graves was also a part of who recruited you, and he was a guy who was who's here for all 3 years with shirts as well.
Uh-huh.
Can you kind of last year, you got some run last year off the bench. The injury bug struck a little bit late for the Sycamores, and you got some more playing time and some more opportunity and a little more tape in there as well. But last year's squad ultimately, you guys won that regular season Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Hadn't been done a while in Terre Haute. And then you guys also got to the championship game in the conference tourney. And then you got to the championship game. You guys were runners up in the national invitation tournament. Can you tell me like what maybe you grew the most from or what kind of helped your game the most about last year?
I'll say definitely playing behind Robbie and Jabo definitely. I feel like that's helped my game a lot, and I say that all the time because it's like I just look at my film and I just think to myself like, they did the same exact thing. They'll do the same passes, and just like offensively and defensively, I feel like playing behind them for a year, like Jabo, Coach Sir says that that's the smartest player he's ever coached, and then Robbie is Robbie, of course. So, just being able to sit behind and just watch them, like all their mistakes, all the things that they did good for like a full year, I feel like that was just good for me and for my development. And I feel like it's definitely helping with my game now.
And then JD, I know you're a lefty. I know that's a spot where that gives other teams a different look. Like when you got the rock, when you're handling it, when you're shooting it, it's just a different look. I think it can definitely be an advantage for you. Anyone that you feel like you've modeled your game after?
Um, Not exactly. I'll say growing up, I always looked up to LeBron. Just watching him and him being versatile as he is at his size. I kind of always like to form my game around his, just to be a versatile player. Huh? Hold on one second. You said what? Huh? I'm doing an interview right now. I'm good, low key. Okay, come on. I'm sorry, but yeah,
You're good. You good. You good.
I definitely we got the legendary Coach Celeste here. Walk the rest of the way. But I'll definitely say I just like to be versatile for real. I watched LeBron growing up a lot, but
Okay.
I won't really say I really form my game around anybody. I
Hmm.
just always like to be, try to be versatile. That's really about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, growing up, I just always watched a lot of LeBron. My dad always talked about how he was a walking mismatch and how he could play different positions. He's kind of like an on-court coach, and that's kind of what I tried to be for the team and just being able to play multiple positions if I need to, and if anybody doesn't know what to do, being a person they could come to, like it's just another on-court coach. And that's really just how I kind of model my game growing up.
Who you got, Jordan or LeBron?
Definitely LeBron. Definitely LeBron. We could
Mm,
debate about it too.
okay. And then JD, what can you tell me? You mentioned earlier about playing in New York or growing up in New York for a little bit. Anyone you played in that New York City circuit that you can kind of name drop and some of those what does some of those battles look like?
I'll say definitely growing up playing with a couple of hitters that's in college right now. Like I know it's another people call him my twin, Jaden Daughtry. He's at Marist right now. He's playing right now.
Hmm.
A couple other cats, my cousin Nacy, he's at Queens College.
Okay.
And a lot of couple we got some other people who went to JUCOs, not as much, but Growing up, it was a lot of guards. A lot of people that was just going to the park every single day. Everybody, different type of people, me and different people going to different courts. But it's a lot of people out there in New York. I feel like it's kind of under recruited because it's just so many players. There's so many not as many schools out there. But I feel like it's a lot of underground players that haven't really gotten seen. Thank you, coach.
JD, what borough were you playing in typically?
A lot of Queens.
Okay.
A lot of Queens, but during the summertime, I was usually all around,
Okay.
taking the train with a couple of my boys,
Mm-hmm.
going to play in Brooklyn or going to the Bronx for a tournament and
Mm-hmm.
coming right back. But originally in Queens, though.
That's awesome. JD, I want to get you out on this one. Again, we got Jaden Daughtry here. He's a wing for the Indiana State Sycamores. They're playing at Valpo on Wednesday. What's the biggest thing you feel like you've learned from Matthew Graves, or maybe just that he's brought to the table in order to get you guys off to this 3-1 start in the Missouri Valley Conference?
I'll say he's definitely brought everybody together, like a great job just getting everybody together and getting everybody on the great page. In my opinion, it's real hard for a new head coach to come in with a brand new team and
I think I
exactly
lost
have
you.
a great
Oh,
team.
got you back.
Can you
I
hear me?
lost like the last 10 seconds. Can you go back about 10 seconds for me?
Yeah, I'll say definitely just being a new coach and coming into a new team and having to rebuild, especially after the year that we had last year. It was a lot, and it was definitely hard for Coach Graves. So I feel like he's been doing a great job, just like getting everybody together and getting this young team up to speed on just how to play Missouri Valley basketball. And I feel like he's been doing great weather in the storm as far as like all the outside noise as well.